to WYCE Studio X. J.S. OnDara was born in Nairobi, Kenya, where he was madly in love with American and British rock music that he would hear on his older sister's battery-powered radio. Although his family could not afford a guitar, J.S. OnDara still had big dreams to become a musician right here in the U.S. After winning a green card lottery in 2013, J.S. OnDara moved to Minneapolis in the middle of winter, mostly because it was the home state of his songwriting hero, Mr. Bob Dylan. When he landed in the U.S., he had pages of lyrics but couldn't even play guitar. But in just 6 short years after arriving in the U.S., he taught himself to play and went to performing in open mics locally and started posting covers on the internet, eventually releasing his critically acclaimed debut album, Tales of America, which is out now on the Verve label. A truly remarkable accomplishment in such a short amount of time. Rolling Stone magazine has named him an artist that you need to know, and he was recently nominated as Best Emerging Artist at the Americana Music Association Awards in 2019. J.S. OnDara will be performing tonight at Park Theater in Holland as part of the Hope College Concert Series. Please welcome to WYCE's Studio X, J.S. OnDara.
There's a bear at the airport waiting on a plane. There's a cow at the funeral bidding farewell. There's a goat at the terminal boarding the sea train. There's a horse at the hospital dancing with the hair. Somebody call the doctor from the university. Somebody call upon the witch on the wizardry. Somebody call the rabbi, the pastor and the sheik, 'cause we are coming on the days of insanity, the days of insanity, the days of there's a lion on the ocean bed mating with a whale. There's a rhino on the outer spread mating with a mare. Somebody call the doctor from the university. Somebody call upon the witch and the wizardry. Somebody call the rabbi, the pastor and the sheik, 'cause we are coming on the days of insanity, the days of insanity, the days of the days of.
From the new album Tales of America, that was Days of Insanity. Welcome to WYCE, J.S. OnDara. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming this way. It's such a beautiful new record. I want to talk to you about growing up in Kenya. You were a fan of rock and roll, basically, Pearl Jam and, Guns N' Roses. You have a very funny story when you first heard, or you were such a fan of Knocking on Heaven's Door, that a friend told you that it wasn't Guns N' Roses that wrote that song, it was actually Bob Dylan. And that kind of sets you on a path to discover Bob Dylan, who now is your musical hero. Talk to me about that experience.
Yeah, it was just a bet that I made with a friend. We had a big debate about that song. I was fairly confident it was a Guns N' Roses song, as I'd grown up listening to it. And my friend this one time says, no, it's actually by this lad called Bob Dylan. And I'm like, well, no, you're obviously wrong. So we had a big fight about it, and we made a bet, and I eventually lost the bet, but found out, who the original author of the song was, and fell into sort of a rabbit hole of Bob Dylan and folk music in general after that.
Your story is almost out of a movie. I could envision it as a movie, actually, coming from Nairobi, Kenya, listening to your sister's, battery-powered radio, getting enamored with music and musical icons and songwriters like Bob Dylan. And then you won a green card lottery, and within 6 years, you moved to Minnesota, or you stayed with an aunt. You wanted originally to start a band, but you didn't know anyone, so you felt that the only way that you could do it is to learn an instrument yourself and back yourself up. Was it hard to learn that instrument like you do? I mean, you're a gorgeous guitar player. How long did it take you to start to getting that system down? And was there a daily routine? And did you go to a thrift store to buy a guitar? Like, walk me through the process of holding that guitar for the first time.
The guitar that I played out for the first time in the open mics was a guitar that I bought after spending some time working temporary jobs and saving up some money. I'd go work in the mornings, come back in the evening, and play. And I suppose it was difficult, but at the time I didn't really feel like it was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I was just quite determined,
mm-hmm.
and there was no way to look back. Forward was the only way to go. So I just did it because I had to. I don't think there was much of a choice. I can't say how difficult or easy it was. It's just what I was doing at the time, and I did it because I had to do it.
You have such a determination. Did you have that determination as well when you were in Kenya? Like, did you almost put it out in the universe? Like, I will go to America. I will be a singer-songwriter. Did you put it out in the universe, and just, luck has it that it landed in your lap, and you just keep moving and trudging along with this very unique luck? Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've always been that person who sort of sets this very romantic ideas and goals in his head and said, this is how my life is going to go, with no path of whatsoever of making that happen. And so it was definitely a very deliberate intention to being here, with you and having this conversation and playing this guitar and having those songs written and being on the path that I'm on at the moment. Yeah.
And there's a great community station in Minneapolis called The Current. They're very similar to WYCE, but you started uploading songs on YouTube and cover versions of things, and they somehow picked up one of those songs, and your fan base kind of grew because everyone in the Minneapolis Twin Cities area was like, who is this person? And through that exposure from the local community radio station there, you got a great opportunity to tour with some singer-songwriter, well-known people like David Gray, and from there, the record label started kind of talking to you, and it took you several years to kind of get the album out. You recorded at the studio where Pet Sounds was recorded, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. How long was that process to get the album finished?
I mean, I was also, very particular with the record I wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
So, I made a record previously that I threw away because it didn't, sort of fit the standard that I was looking for. And I did a lot of recordings before I made Tales of America, just trying to find the right team, the right sort of sound, the right place to make the record. So it took quite a bit of time to get to East West where we ended up recording. But as soon as I ended up finding that room and finding my team, the process of recording, it was about a month. But the songs, I had been gathering them for since I'd arrived in America, and previously too.
So you had hundreds of
Right.
workable ideas, but you pared it down to a simple message that make up the songs on Tales of America.
Right.
It's really such a beautiful record. We were able to see you at Non-Com in Philadelphia, and you just blew everyone away. It was a really special performance.
Thanks so much.
We are live in studio with J.S. OnDara, who will be playing at the Park Theater tonight as part of the Hope College concert series. The new album is called Tales of America, and it is out now. Dylan is a huge influence on you, and I think that you really fit that troubadour aesthetic to a T. Were there any ideas of America that you had that failed you when you got here? And were there any ideas of America that impressed you?
It's a great question. I mean, I think there's definitely a certain romanticism about the idea of the American dream and what that was going to be. I think in my head, I obviously thought, well, I'm just gonna move to America and I'm gonna be a folk singer. And as soon as I landed in America, I was very quickly faced with the challenges of just being an everyday resident of America and trying to start a career in a very competitive field with no help whatsoever. And so that was definitely a bit of a steep curve to try to navigate. But I think as far as what's impressed me about America is just knowing that, the path towards that dream that people pursue is there, if you're stubborn and stupid enough to stick to it. Right.
Well, you certainly are not home very often because you are on a pretty significant tour. You've played with all sorts of people, from Lindsey Buckingham to the Milk Carton Kids to Neil Young. You're currently on a solo tour. You're getting ready to go to Europe. So you're not stationary for very long. So you truly are a traveling troubadour with your guitar and your songwriting. So hopefully this touring experience will give you more inspiration for the next album and more Tales of America and the world at that point.
Yeah.
Can we hear another song?
Yeah, absolutely. In the water, the fire, I'll go wherever you go. In the valley, in the canyons, I'll go wherever you go. Hey, love, I'm ready now. Can't you see this right inside of my veins? Hey, love, I'm overcome by desire. How must I read? In the water, the fire, I'll go wherever you go, in the valley, in the kings. I'll go wherever you go. Hey, love, it's been 3 years now since you heard from Jesus, for He's chosen men. Hey, love, you twist and turn till your colors are either. There will be no men in the water, the fire. I'll go wherever you go, in the valley, in the kings. I'll go wherever you go. Oh, Lebanon, life is brief, don't sit long in your constant fear. Open up, I shan't be like another. Oh, Lebanon, oh, Lebanon, life is brief, don't sit long in your constant fear. Open up, I shan't be like another.
From the new album Tales of America, that was J.S. OnDara live in Studio X at WYCE. J.S. OnDara will be performing tonight at Park Theater in Holland as part of the Hope College Concert Series. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Good luck with the tour.
Thanks so much.
Back to Rebecca in the studio.